Hello, I'm Dan Kelso, Adobe Digital Marketing Technical Director at Perficient, and today I'd like to show you how you can achieve development tranquility with the Apache Sling Service User Web Console. This tool was inspired by my personal frustrations with the process of creating service users in AEM. The console makes creating Apache Sling service users effortless. In this video, we'll discuss why service users exist, show the process for installing the Service User Web Console, and show how to create a service user with the console. So why do service users exist in the first place? When Apache Sling graduated from the Apache Incubator process in 2009, we could call the login administrative method from a resource resolver factory to directly get an administrative resource resolver. This was easy for developers, but unfortunately, a security policy modeled after leaving the keys out for the kleptomaniac wasn't overly secure. Therefore, around 2014, the Apache Sling team decided to deprecate the login administrative method and only allow specifically whitelisted bundles to execute the method. This version of the Sling API is included in AEM 6.0 and newer. The idea instead was that developers are supposed to create service users and grant the service users the specific permissions that they require. Unfortunately, this is a pain in practice. Finally, in 2018, I contributed the Service User Web Console plugin to the Apache Sling project. Service users sound good in theory, however, creating a service user was a pain in the butt for developers. The reason is creating a service user required 3 different manual steps from 3 different tools. First, you had to use CRX Explorer to create the user. Next, switch to the user administration screen to assign permissions. And finally, add the Apache Sling Service User Mapper configuration in the OSGi console. Assuming you did all this correctly, you can use the service user. And if you wanted to move the user between environments, you had to get the user into source control, which was even more cumbersome than all these other steps. That's why I decided to create the Apache Sling Service User Web Console to consolidate this process into a single screen. Additionally, I added the ability to view existing service users, see what bundles they were available from, and their permissions, which can be useful for diagnosing access issues. And the Web Console plugin even gives you code snippets and filter samples to make using and exporting service users a piece of cake. The Apache Sling Service User Web Console is not available out of the box in AEM, including 6.4, but it can be installed with 2 bundles. To install the Apache Sling Service User Web Console, simply download, then install the following bundles into the OSGi console in AEM. The Apache Sling Service User Mapper version 1.4.0. AEM 6.4 includes 1.3.6, but this is not a recent enough version. And the Apache Sling Service User Web Console version 1.0.0. Let's take a minute to demonstrate installing the Service User Web Console, then demo its functionality, and create a service user. Let's start by uploading the 2 bundles into the OSGi console. I've already downloaded them to my Downloads folder, so we'll upload them from there. It will take AEM a moment or 2 to restart all of the bundles. I have fast-forwarded this section. Once this is complete, you should be able to access the Apache Sling Service User Web Console at localhost 4502, System, Console, Service Users, or through the navigation. The first thing to note is the form along the top of the web console. This allows you to create or update service users. Below, you can see a list of all the current service users as well as their associated bundles and subservice mappings. Clicking on a bundle name will take you to that bundle. And clicking on a service user name will take you to the details for that service user. On the details screen, I can see the service username, their associated bundle, their user path, permissions, and other important details. Below the details table is the code sample for the package filter you will need to add the service user to your project, and an example of the source code for using the service user in your class. All this information is together giving you everything you need at your fingertips. One point of clarification, the Service User Web Console looks for ACL nodes with the service username. It will not attempt to find ACLs associated with any groups the user belongs to, so there could potentially be additional rights or restrictions if the service user belongs to any groups. In my experience, this is not common. Additionally, since this is a query, you may have to increase the traversal size in your Oak index configuration in order to not run into query errors. Let's get started creating a service user. First, I'll navigate back to the main screen of the web console. Supply the service username. You can also update an existing user by using that existing username. Next, the intermediate path. This is the subpath under which the user will be created, and it should start with service. So for example, if I say service/myapp, a user will be created under home, users, service, myapp. The bundle field allows you to enter or select the bundle from which the service user can be used. Selecting in the field with any modern browser will display a list of the currently installed bundles, which makes it easy to select or find the one that you want. Subservice name isn't required, but you can use this to provide different service users for different subservices within a bundle. The application path is used by the web console to determine where to create the service user mapping for the service user. If you're updating a service user, this should match the existing path. Finally, you can specify the repository paths and permissions to grant the service user. The path is a free-form text, so make sure to type the path correctly. The permissions will display a drop-down of the valid permission options for you to select from. Once you click Create, the service user will be created or updated, and you'll be taken to the user details page. I have noticed sometimes the first time you access this page, some details will not come up. If you see this, just refresh the page and it'll appear. If I wanted to add the service user to my codebase, I could open the package manager and add the paths indicated into my filter. Once I build and download the package, I'll have everything I need to have that user in my codebase. And there you go. From a cumbersome, error-prone process to a single screen with all the information you need, the Service User Web Console makes creating service users a breeze. Since the Service User Web Console does show available service users, I would not recommend installing it in production. However, in your local development and integration environment, it's instrumental in diagnosing service access issues. Thanks for watching.